useless!
What's going on YouTube? You're chilling with Trainers Opposite. We are here today for another Wi-Fi battle. This time it's going to be a new you, and don't let the Raikou on the other team, on my opponent's team, surprise you or whatever. He actually didn't know that Raikou was OU, which is understandable. I mean, like last gen, I think it was RU, like most of the elemental dogs were, except for Suicune, of course, that was UU. But anyway, let me just explain my team real quick. There's no real like rhyme or reason to my team. I just put it together on the spot. I've got a Bandit Haxorus, which I actually thought was Scarfed for some reason. I have no idea. I've got a physically defensive Chestnut, a physically offensive Tornadus with no item for acrobatics, and a specially off. Oh, it's also got Defiant. It's Defiant Acrobatics Tornadus. A specially defensive Florges, a physically defensive mixed Arcanine, my special set, and a focused energy Kingdra. And my opponent has a Nidoking, most likely specially offensive. I mean, what Nidoking isn't nowadays? A Shaman, which I have to be on the lookout for what item it's using. A Swampert, which it looks like it's the only potential Mega on his team, so I'm going to say it's his Mega. Infernape, which is going to be a problem because rocks and it's fast and all that good stuff. Hydreigon, which I'm not sure what it is. And finally Raikou, which it could be Scarfed, it could be Specs, it could be Life Orb, Calm Mind, and one of those. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the battle. My opponent is someone who I met on my stream. I actually can't remember who my opponent was, so I'm really sorry about that. If you comment in the comment section, I'll definitely put your link in the description if you have one, to your channel or whatever. I'm going to start with my Haxorus, just in case he actually brought out his Raikou, because I thought it was Scarfed at the time. I completely forgot I switched over a band. So I went for Earthquake to try and get off a quick KO. However, he goes for the Volt Switch, and here I thought he was Scarfed too. So it's like, alright, that's a Scarf Raikou because I'm a Scarf Haxorus. But I look at that damage, I'm like, holy crap, that does way too much. How's that possible? And then he brings in the Hydreigon after he sees the damage to the Swampert. I go for another Earthquake, and thanks to Mold Breaker, I'm going to go right through his Levitate and a crit. At this point, even with the crit, I'm thinking, maybe I'm banded. And like, just seeing that damage on Swampert and with the crit knockout on Hydreigon, which it probably shouldn't have knocked it out. So I'm thinking I'm banded. I know I gotta preserve it. I pull back into my Tornadus because I figure that it might be the best thing to resist a Seed Flare in case he predicts the switch. However, I take a Dazzling Gleam just fine. He brings in his Raikou on as I go for Acrobatics on his switch. And I know he could go for Volt Switch here, but I just need to sponge a hit. I go into my Florges to sponge any kind of special hit and potentially get off a Wish Pass as he pulls back, knowing that this is an unfavorable matchup for him, into his Nidoking. And knowing Nidoking, I know that I can take one Sludge Wave with Life Orb and Sheer Force at a pretty good amount of HP. So I stay in, try and go for the Moon Blast to reduce his special attack. However, he reveals the Poison Jab. He is a physical Sheer Force Life Orb Nidoking. Holy crap, I've never seen that before, and I am just astounded. I go into Haxorus because I know I'm jolly, and I should be able to knock him out. And I do. I mean, I go for the Outrage. I just go for the Outrage specifically because I didn't think that Dragon Claw would knock him out. And I know that I'm going to probably get Revenge KO'd, but that's fine. Haxorus did more than enough work in this battle. And I'm going to send in my Fortress Hank to hopefully get up some hazards and to kind of judge the damage here. And based off that damage, I'm going to say that it might be Scarf Shaman. Because if it was Specs Shaman, that should have definitely one-shot me. But since it didn't one-shot me, it should be Scarf Shaman. So I'm going to go for the Spiky Shield here just to get back a little bit more HP, because believe it or not, Fortress Tank is still useful to me because he still has that Swampert. And as long as he has that Swampert and it doesn't have Ice Punch, Fortress Tank can pretty much tank any hit that it has. And considering this isn't a rain team, I'd say that, maybe it doesn't have Ice Punch. I don't know. I'm just going to go into my Arcanine on the Dazzling Gleams to take nothing and try and knock it out with a Flamethrower. But he switches into his Raikou, and thanks to the spikes I'm going to get off here, and the damage thanks to Flamethrower, I'm actually going to be in a range where I can KO it with an extreme speed. So this is where my coverage of not reducing my special attack or attack, but speed instead for this special Arcanine comes into play. Because I'm still got the bulk, and I've still got some base 80s stab Flamethrower and base 100 non-stab E-speed. So that came out to be some pretty good damage. And here comes said Swampert. Like I said, I'm going to go in my Fortress Hank knowing that I can pretty much tank any hit as long as it's not Ice Punch. And here it is, the Mega Swampert. Everyone cower in fear. He goes for the Waterfall, and it really doesn't do much at all to me, like almost nothing. And I'm figuring that an Earthquake won't do much more than that. It may do a little bit, but it probably won't do much more than that. And he's not going to want to go for Earthquake, predicting another Spiky Shield, so I'm free to just go for the Seed Bomb and knock him out. I mean, I could have gone for the Spiky Shield and maybe got a little bit more leftovers recovery, but there's no point, because after I take out Swampert, Fortress Hank isn't really going to help me against anything else on his team. So he brings in the Shaman. I'm going to go for the Spiky Shield just to play kind of a mind game with him, and maybe make him think that I'm going to switch into something that'll resist the oncoming, as you guys saw, Psychic. But I've got no problems with it knocking out Fortress Hank. And if he didn't take the bait, no big deal. I can still go into my Arcanine, take the Psychic, and knock him out with a Flamethrower. That was weird. A door just opened and I have no idea what was that or what was outside. Really weird. Yeah, anyway, sorry about that, guys. I go for the E-Speed to try and knock out the Shaman after the Flamethrower. Didn't knock it out, surprisingly. But the E-Speed is not going to be enough to knock him out. Thankfully, I can take another Psychic, and I'm going to be able to knock him out with one more E-Speed. However, knowing this, he's going to go into his Infernape to take the hit. And I'm not too keen on staying in on an Infernape, especially considering it can close combat me, and I haven't gotten off the Intimidate. So I'm going to pull back into my my Tornadus and hopefully sponge the oncoming close combat and scare him out. However, he goes for Power Up Punch, and this makes me think, this is a really interesting set. What kind of set is this? And I see it's Life Orb, and he goes for Mach Punch, and holy crap, it knocks me out. And just judging from that, I say, you know what? This guy has got to be, he's got to be the Iron Fist set. And here he goes for the Mach Punch again. Turns out he didn't even have close combat, because I needed him to go for close combat so I can knock him out with E-Speed, but it's fine because he doesn't have it. He can't knock me out. I go for Surf, knock him out, and Shaman is going to do 2 Spike Hazards, and that's the end of the game. So GG Quentin, and talk of the day. Does weird stuff happen to your guys around the house and you don't even know about it? I mean, sometimes it's just the cats and stuff, and that can be easily explained. But that's like a door opened and Lilo got let inside, and I did not see anyone in the kitchen. And that was just like, what? So I'm gonna go check outside my door. I will see you all next time. Bye!